Modern pop music has trained our brains to expect a very specific kind of payoff. When a high-energy song builds toward a chorus, we instinctively anticipate a heavy, percussive thud on the very first beat, the moment the production traditionally explodes. But in Miley Cyrus's Flowers, the expected hit is missing. Instead of a massive drop on beat 1, the production pulls everything back, leaving a fraction of a second of unexpected silence. This creates what musicians call a slingshot effect. By leaving the first beat of the chorus empty, the producers create a momentary vacuum. It is the acoustic equivalent of winding back a bowstring. The silence builds a sudden, sharp tension, because your brain is searching for a beat that never arrived. When the instrumentation finally strikes on beat 2, that stored tension is released all at once. Because your ears were just reset by the silence, this delayed hit feels more explosive and propulsive than a traditional beat ever could. This engineered silence is a specific psychological tool. It forces the listener's attention out of the pensive mood of the verses and into the confident, forward-leaning energy of the chorus. Beyond the rhythm, the song's emotional shift is guided by a specific counter-melody, an oboe-like synthesizer that sits just behind the lead vocal. In production terms, this synth acts like a Lojban mirror. While the human vocal carries a raspy, emotional weight, the synth strips that emotion away, echoing the melody back with mathematical precision. It takes a subjective feeling and reflects it back to the listener as a clear, structural certainty. We can hear this evolution in the bass line as well. The song begins with a twangy, walking rhythm reminiscent of country or Mexican norteño music. This pensive, staccato style reflects the vulnerability of the lyrics, mirroring the feeling of someone looping through a memory. But as we cross that silent beat into the chorus, the bass shifts gears. It moves from a polite country walk to an aggressive disco-funk slap bass. The string is physically snapped against the fretboard, providing the percussive pop needed to signal a shift into active empowerment. By combining that precise synthesizer with the genre-shifting bass, the song provides a structural path for the listener, transitioning the subconscious state from nostalgia into a celebration of self-reliance. This architectural approach to emotion isn't exclusive to modern pop. It has been a core principle of musical mastery for centuries. Mozart utilized what critics called playful spikes of dissonance, notes that intentionally clashed with the harmony to startle his audiences. He understood that violating a listener's expectations was the most effective way to keep their attention fully engaged. Modern legends push this further, weaponizing high piercing notes and ecstatic screeches to shock the listener's senses and transcend the standard boundaries of a 3-minute pop song. Michael Jackson was a master of this masking, often building songs with overwhelming harmonic complexity that he then hid beneath simple, irresistible pop narratives that the world could easily digest. In Kiss from a Rose, Seal uses a 3/4 waltz time to create a shepherd tone effect, an auditory illusion of a melody that is rising forever. Without the reset of a standard 4-beat rhythm, the song feels like it is in a state of endless, floating momentum. This aligns with Richard Feynman's definition of mastery. To find the fastest solution to a problem, one must navigate thousands of exponential possibilities and distill them into something that feels intuitive. A great composer takes a chaotic matrix of chords and rhythms and collapses them into a single, elegant path that feels inevitable to the person hearing it. Real musical genius isn't about displaying complexity. It is the ability to hide absolute mathematical depth behind a mask of simplicity. Why do we respond so strongly to these hidden structures? It's because these songs act as physiological regulators for the listener. They are designed to move the brain from a state of distress, the anxiety of heartbreak, into a state of eustress, where that same energy is converted into a positive, empowering force. When the slingshot silence resets the listener's expectations and is immediately followed by a high-energy melodic reflection, it creates a neurological break. This shift effectively closes the gates on the emotional pain of the verses, returning the listener to a state of curiosity and presence. This music works even when the artist's identity is removed. Long before he was famous, The Weeknd stood in a retail store as a janitor, watching total strangers react to his own music on the shop floor. The songs validated him through their impact on others, long before the world knew his face. The underlying math does the work regardless of the setting. It triggers a sudden, recognizable shift in perspective for unsuspecting listeners, whether they are in a crowded stadium or a quiet fast food drive-thru. The next time you hear a simple pop hit, remember that you aren't just listening to a catchy tune. You are experiencing a mathematically perfect emotional reset, engineered to slingshot you out of the past and into the strength of the present.